Webster Tarpley, who said Obama was their man 9 months before he was elected, who laid it all out with Brzezinski, laid out all the policies, all the flip-flops. A man ahead of his time, laid out that he would stall within 150 days. It's now happened. He said he would have the lowest approval rating ever. It's happened. How on earth did you know this, Webster Tarpley?
Well, thank you, Alex. I think it was mainly a matter of having lived through the Carter trilateral puppet regime back in 1977 to 81, seeing Zbigniew Brzezinski back then, seeing Paul Adolph Volcker, seeing all the members of the Trilateral Commission who were so prominent in the Carter administration, from Carter and Mondale and Vance and so many others, Blumenthal at the Treasury, and so on. They were all handpicked by David Rockefeller and Brzezinski. This time they did it a slightly more sophisticated way, not so much actual membership in the Trilateral Commission, although we don't really know, but certainly the guiding hand was there. And now you've got Paul Adolph Volcker sitting in the White House, and Brzezinski really running a lot of the policy through somebody like Robert Gates, who was his office boy back 30 years ago, who now runs the Pentagon. So I think you're dealing with that. Now, I think the good news, though, is that this has now stalled. This entire Obama hysteria seems to be disintegrating at a fairly rapid rate, and he is now down to 49% in some of these polls.
But a cornered dragon is dangerous with all of his host of hell supporting him, all these powerful interests that are articulating this puppet. What are their tricks, their stage crises, synthetic terror? You told us what was coming a year and a half ago. Now tell us what's coming in the next year and a half. Webster Tarpley, stay with us. This is Alex Jones with important news. I want to warn you about a deadly storm that's fast approaching. A storm that will affect you and everybody you know. Here's the story. The current administration is committed to nationalizing health care, giving 40 million new people free care. Now here's the bad news. The current system will almost be immediately overwhelmed by these new demands for free services and procedures. Medicare and Medicaid are already bankrupt. Many doctors are now leaving their practices frightened by the prospect of forced procedures. All this is creating a perfect storm, which could create unimaginable shortages in the healthcare services. Folks, it's time to be prepared for the worst. Our friends at Solutions from Science have recently come up with an emergency preparedness course that reveals how you can make powerful herbal medicines in the privacy of your own home. It's called Herbal Preparations and Natural Therapies, and is flat out the best course of its kind. I recommend you visit this important new website at makeherbalmedicines.com. That's makeherbalmedicines.com, or call toll-free 877-327-0365. In the New World Order's war against humanity, Barack Obama is the tip of the spear.
We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded.
The Obama deception completely destroys the myth that Obama is working for the best interest of the American people.
Well, Obama's already fudging. He's fudged since day one in this election.
If you have a demagogue with a fanatical mass movement of personality cultists who is imposing the program of a group of extreme bankers and finance oligarchs, that's fascism.
It's not about left or right. It's about a one-world government. This film documents who Obama works for, the lies he has told, and his real agenda. Get your copy of The Obama Deception today at Infowars.com or download it in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. The Obama Deception. The people strike back.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw of free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power. A gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
Webster Tarpley, we were talking during the break. Obviously, he's their manufactured messiah type that Brzezinski, in Between Two Ages, wrote about in the 70s. These kind of pop icon presidents they wanted to create, kind of little Hitlers that are complete puppets, not their own men, as Alois Hitler was. Now that he's stalling, and much of his agenda, except for the hate crimes bill, they got that. That was the one thing they wanted to restrict free speech. Now that they're starting to stall, this is a cornered juggernaut going for broke. What do you see happening in your political crystal ball?
Well, the first thing is that Obama is now losing some of his core support, right? He got 52% in the election, allegedly. If he's down to 49, it means that he's lost 3% of his actual voters, which is, I think, very, very ominous for him. Let's just think of where we are. We're in the first term of Obama, and it's getting to be August. Where were we about this point in the previous president's first term, say Bush?
He was on vacation, getting ready to stage a false flag.
Having, the rogue network was getting ready to deliver the false flag and hope that he did what they wanted, which he was going to do. But we're now basically at the point where this 9/11 stuff then comes back into play. The danger of false flag, I would say, is now rapidly increasing. It has to do with the calculation on the part of these controllers, right? These trilateral characters. Do they wish to try to maintain this investment? I mean, if you look back at Bush, he was already cratering at the point we're at now, and then he was given a huge rally round effect by 9/11.
And according to Gallup and others, Obama is cratered faster than Bush, faster than Carter. So this is a record cratering, and so that brings false flag in.
It does, and the model, I think, is this character Andrew Sullivan, writing in the Atlantic Monthly in December of 2007, complained that the use of false flag was momentarily impossible for the Anglo-American ruling class because under the circumstances of Bush Cheney, nobody would believe them. In other words, if a bomb went off and Bush Cheney came out and said country X did it, many people would say you're lying. Many people would say you're responsible, you're incompetent, or even you did it yourself as a wag the dog. So that was the problem that Sullivan saw with the latter years of Bush Cheney. Now, in the opinion of the ruling elite, I don't think in reality, because I think they're too optimistic, they would say that Obama could blame another country for something happening, and the world would believe it. Now, the list has changed. This is not going to be Iran anymore. You will have seen that the CIA faction in Iran is in the streets yelling death to Russia, death to China, meaning Brzezinski's program. So there's no point in attacking Iran when you have a chance of taking over the government with Mousavi Rafsanjani and then using Iran against Russia, China, which is what the plan is. But I would say...
But if that doesn't go well in the next few months, they still may. I mean, we're getting all these green lights.
But right now, that's still an open question. The one thing we do know is that there's bombing of Pakistan every day, which is 2.5 times bigger with nuclear weapons. So I think actually much worse as a policy. But I think the hit list is now Pakistan, Sudan, and then, depending on how crazy they are, maybe they go straight to China or straight to Russia. And this would, of course, be acts of incalculable folly, but we're dealing with a
But we already
bankrupt,
saw the
desperate ruling
Brzezinski.
class.
We already